Today we're going through the steps in order to replace the fuel pump on this 1994 Dodge Grand Caravan. One of the first things we're going to do is bleed the pressure off the system using our pressure gauge. Capture any fuel that you bleed out of the system into a safe container. Also, before beginning the repair, we want to remove the negative battery cable. To ease in the removal of the tank, we'll remove the 4 filler neck screws. In order to do a proper fuel pump replacement, we need to clean the inside of the tank, and that will require the removal of the tank. Because of the way the filler tube is inserted into the tank, there's a rubber grommet. It's always a good idea to lube the grommet before removing the tank. Because the fuel line connections are exposed on this vehicle, it's a good idea to lube these, helping ease of removal. It's always a good idea to work with a tank that is as low on fuel as possible. Fortunately, on this vehicle, it does have a port where we can drain the fuel out of the tank into a safe container. With the tank now empty, we can reinstall the cap and disconnect our fuel lines. Keep in mind, when disconnecting the fuel lines, there may be residual pressure. Be sure and capture any fuel into a safe container. Remove the tank straps and partially lower the tank in order to gain access to our vent line and our electrical connection. As we lower the tank, we'll have to slide the filler tube out of the tank grommet. With the tank lowered to this position, you can now remove the electrical connection and the vent. You will need to remove the retainer clips holding the wiring harness to the front of the tank. Now remove the tank from under the vehicle. We always want to clean the outside of the tank to keep any debris from getting into the tank as we remove the module assembly. With the outside of the tank now thoroughly clean, we can begin removing the fuel pump module from the tank. Remove the fuel lines from the module. Also be sure and remove the retaining clip to be reused on the new module assembly. Remove the lock ring using a non-ferrous brass punch. You will turn the lock ring counterclockwise to remove it. Remove the module from the tank. Keep in mind there is a reservoir at the bottom of the module that will hold residual fuel. You'll need to capture this into a safe container. At this point, we need to drain the remaining fuel into a safe container and then clean the inside of the tank. We want to be sure that the tank is as clean as possible to allow a clean environment for the fuel pump. Once you've removed the fuel pump from the packing material, be sure and remove the sender arm from the module assembly. We will install this into the sender, and we will also use the retainer clip that is provided. We will slide the tank seal all the way up onto the bottom of the flange. Note the locating tab on the top of the flange, corresponding notch on the top of the tank. Now with the new Airtex fuel pump fully installed into the tank, we can install our locking ring. Always be sure and inspect the lock ring, making sure it's not compromised in any way that would hinder the reinstallation. We will turn the lock ring clockwise using our non-ferrous brass punch. Reinstall the retainer clip into the end of the drain line fitting and reinstall the fitting onto the top of the module assembly. Reinstall your pressure and return line onto the module assembly. Always inspect your fuel lines, making sure they're not compromised in any way. Because of the age of the vehicle and the condition of the lines that we removed, we've elected to install new fuel lines onto this assembly. Depending upon the year model of your van, your new module may come with an updated harness. You'll have to actually replace this harness on the vehicle. The new harness will connect about midway on the frame rail. As we reinstall a tank into the vehicle, keep in mind that we have to start the filler tube into the tank grommet as we raise the tank into position. Once we get the tank partially raised, now we can install the vent tube and the electrical connection, making sure to slide the retainer on the electrical connection over. Reinstall the wiring harness retainer clips onto the tank. Finish raising your tank into position, all the while working the fuel filler hose into the tank. Now we can reinstall the tank straps. With the tank secured, now we will reattach our fuel line connections. Reattach your fuel filler into the body of the vehicle. With the repair finished, we will now reconnect the negative battery cable. We will want to cycle the key 2 to 3 times in order to recharge the system. We will start the vehicle and monitor fuel pressure, making sure it's within vehicle specifications. To remove the gauge, we'll shut the engine off and bleed the pressure from the system using the pressure relief on the gauge, making sure to capture any fuel in a safe container.